believe it's July already? Oh, wow. Did you know that July was named after Julius Caesar? Because that was the month he was born? And until the 18th century, it was actually pronounced Julie, like the girl's name. And it's hot. And I know it's tempting to just sit in the shade and open up some iced tea and drink it and enjoy the garden. It's pretty right now, but there's a lot of work to be done yet. And we're going to show you some of the things that you should be doing in July. Okay, the first thing you're going to have to do is weed. Let's go over and see what needs to be weeded. This bed's not too bad. I've weeded it, and to prevent having to weed it more, we're going to put down some good old moss around these tomatoes and asparagus. That will help keep it from needing to be weeded more. It also keeps you from having to water as much. So simply add the mulch, pull the weeds as you see them, and put the mulch down. You don't even have to take the weeds out if you don't want to. They can act as more mulch. Second thing you need to do this month is pull out any plants that have gone to seed. All my spinach here has gone to seed. So I'm pulling it out. The only ones you would want to leave in will be those that you want to get seeds off of. You want to save them for seeds. You don't have to save a whole bunch of them. Just save one. That's all you really need. Just pull the weeds and put down the mulch. I'm not saving any of the spinach seed because this is the first year I've had spinach. And we're going to try it again. And hopefully we'll have better luck with it later. So you just kind of put the mulch around. You need to do this on most of your beds. The beds that you won't need it will be those like the green beans over there who are so bushy that they don't need the extra cover. Bed done. Some of the beds I've already done with the sorry about that. The green beans, they're so thick that they don't need any mulch right now. Show you a bed that I did with the newspaper. There's no weeds there at all from where the newspaper was. So that's a good alternative. Another thing you need to do every day is harvest. just check out, see what you got, and see what needs to be harvested. Looks like we've got another cucumber. Now the best thing to do is not twist them off the vine, but take a pair of clean scissors, go in here, and just snip them off. Okay? So you have a beautiful cucumber. Another thing you need to do every day in this hot weather, unless you've got mulch down, is to water. And it's best to water in the morning. So I'm going to give this a good watering. And another thing you need to do this time of year is fertilize. So I'm going to water and fertilize at the same time. Now I know people have a disagreement on how to fertilize things, and a lot of people don't like the liquid fertilizer like this. I don't use it very often. I use it during this time of year because it's easy and I don't have to get into the ground and mess it up. And it does a good job. It's not the only fertilizer I use. I use compost in the spring. I use a granular fertilizer in the spring, which I put into the ground when I first start. And in the fall, I put chicken manure, aged. And the main thing to remember is that all fertilizer is good, but it should be rotated. Don't use the same one every time. What I don't fertilize anything I'm harvesting right now. Like the beans will not be fertilized. The tomatoes I'll fertilize, but I'll keep it down low so it doesn't splash back on the fruit. The lettuce will not get fertilized with this. It'll get fertilized on the side with fish mulching. I don't fertilize the blackberries because they're blooming right now. Don't do the strawberries because I've already done them. You do them right after they bloom and when you trim off all the dead leaves and stuff. And I don't do the grapes either because you do those in early spring and that's the only time you fertilize them. So I like this because it's easy. And like I said, it doesn't disturb anything. And I like to do it before, I like to water or put down the fertilizer, if it's this type, before I weed for one simple reason. Snakes hate water. So if you're in an area that has snakes, and I am because of the woods here, make sure that you just water it before you go in there to start weeding. They don't like the water. The water also helps make the soil moist and it's easier to pull up the weeds. So it's just a little tip. So I'm going to go ahead and finish fertilizing all these, and then we'll talk about the next tip. Another thing that needs to be done in July is that you need to keep all your borders around your rows and your beds cleared. That way it keeps all the moisture and nutrition going into the plants and not into the weeds around them. Another thing you need to do is check for pests on all your vegetables. Right now there's the Japanese beetle that's pretty bad, the cabbage worm, which is that little white moth that you see flying around and it lays eggs, and they develop the little larva that eats your plants, mainly the cabbages and the broccoli. They love those. Another thing you need to do, if you haven't done it already, is take all the dead leaves off of your strawberries. Now, I did this once right after they finished producing, But we've had some hot weather, even me watering them every day still has to produce some dry leaves. Another thing you need to do is remove any old dead canes out of your blackberries and raspberries. Those will never come back alive. The branches that are bearing this year will be gone next year, and these other green branches that you see are what your your blackberries will be on next year. Another thing is to keep your grass cut short, but not too short. You want it to be about 2 to 3 inches this time of year. Just enough that it keeps the ground moist and that you can still see any snakes or anything that might be in the ground. As you can tell, if you look real close, you can see my hose, which is about the size of an average snake, quite easily with this level height of grass. One of the hottest jobs around, and the hardest, if you ask me, but it has to be done, and that's churning the compost, which simply means taking the top layer from one side, putting it on the other side. This not only helps it to get air, but it also reveals that nice, beautiful compost that you can use in your garden. When you get to the point where it won't be picked up with the pitchfork anymore, you're down to your good compost that you can put on the garden. And this will also act as a mulch and a fertilizer. And I think we're there. That wasn't so bad. Make sure you keep it fairly moist, kind of like a sponge, but not super wet and drenched. And having the tarp over it keeps it warmer and helps it to heat up. Now over here, I have leaves from last year, which I'm turning into a leaf mold, which I will use next summer as the mulch. That about does it for out here in the garden. That's what needs to be done this July. So let's go and look at some of the things at the house that needs to be done. There's a few things you need to do out in your flower garden, and the first thing is make sure you deadhead your roses, fertilize them, and keep the weeds down away from them. Anything that will come back should be deadheaded. The bee balms, there's no reason to deadhead them. They will not come back. Same thing with my hollyhock. Once it is done, it's done. I do leave all of them go to seed because they self-seed themselves. Keep weeding. Make sure everything's weeded. Make sure you pick up your string and stuff when you're done. And now's the time to trim anything that needs to be trimmed. I already trimmed these up, but before it was overhanging those chairs that you couldn't even set down. And you couldn't see underneath, so there was no airflow. So I opened that up, which allows airflow and also allows you to set in the chairs. Basically, that's all you need to do this time of year. Keep water in your water baths for the bird baths for the birds and the bees, and change it daily. I keep one feeder foe right now, and that's the one that's high up to discourage the raccoons. And basically that's all you need to do right now. But first we're going to take a break before we put our tools away. Always make sure you put your tools away so you know where they're at. We're going to take a small break underneath my shade tree, drinking my iced tea, and start planting the fall garden. I know, you're thinking July? You're thinking fall? Yes. We live in zone 6A, which has approximately 174 days of growing time, and we're halfway through, which means I've got about 80 days left that I can grow stuff. And now I can either make up my mind to just call it quits and spread the manure on these things and wait until next spring, or I can go back in and plant crops where I took the ones that have bolted and the ones that are done out, which is what I'll probably do. And most people don't think in time, and they think come September, oh, I should put a fall garden in. Well, by then it's too late. Now is the time to start thinking. Now is the time to start planting. And my next video will be what you can plant in this area at this time. So, we'll hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. That lets Google know that I'm here. And hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, that way you'll be told when my next video comes up. And remember, dream big. Bye.